Shiro here for Umbra Games with the review of Watch Dogs 2, played on PlayStation 4, but also available on Xbox One and PC. Watch Dogs 2 released in November of 2016, and it's the follow-up to 2014's Watch Dogs, both open-world, mission procedural adventure games, exploring the consequences of intrusive near-future technology. The main theme of the series is based on the presence of smart city technology, known as a cTos, with cameras and devices placed on every street corner and regulated by corporations and the government, to, quote, make life easier for the citizens. The first Watch Dogs took place in Chicago, featuring a brooding, overly serious hacker protagonist on a quest for revenge. Took a slightly disappointingly shallow approach to the possibilities of corruption that a system that harvests big data to this degree could have. In contrast, Watch Dogs 2 takes place in the San Francisco Bay Area, where you're constantly associating with some fellow hackers, a protagonist has an overflowing personality while driven by some serious motivations, and it features parallels of modern society, very nearly showing to a frightful degree exactly how close we may be to this through its quest content. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Watch Dogs 2 begins with the aforementioned hacker, Marcus Holloway, allegedly in trouble with law enforcement. He's challenged by the hacker group DedSec as membership initiation to erase his electronic record created by cTos, or Central Operating System, by breaking into the Bloom Corporation's server room to perform the operation. Upon doing so, he discovers that the cTos, the program and hardware that connects everyone and everything together, has weighted his projected threat level based on items he's purchased, his race, and his age. Enraged by this act, and feeling unjustly classified as a criminal, more on that in a moment, he sets out on a path of justice to protect the innocent people being wrongly treated by this tech. With the hack successful, the local DedSec group welcomes Marcus with open arms, and he begins sabotaging the system wherever he can. At the core of Watch Dogs 2 is the basic open-world city with gameplay, similar to that started by Grand Theft Auto 3. The Bay Area of San Francisco, including Oakland and Silicon Valley, is open for exploration from the start. Icons appear on your GPS marking the various events of which you can partake. The main mission structure is fairly straightforward, but provides options at times on the order of which you complete a set. The side missions feel a bit more organic in their reception, as you talk to people and hack cell phones around the city to become aware of various issues from cTos, triggering an icon to hunt down on the map. Character progression in Watch Dogs 2 is also similar to the first, where you have several skill trees for all the different world interactions. As you complete missions for DedSec, you gain social media followers, which count as experience points. Every time you level up, you're awarded research points, which you can use to unlock tree nodes to boost things like your weapon reload speed, hack vehicles in creative ways, and adding explosive dropping capability to your drones. The catch is most branches of the trees are blocked off by finding the collectible key data research points, which will show up as green icons with a skull on them once the area they're in is discovered. If you go to the tree itself, though, and look at the point that's blocking it, it will tell you the area in which that point can be found, which is helpful if you're working on one branch in particular. Just like in Assassin's Creed games and the previous Watch Dogs iteration, you can press R3 to access a special viewing mode, allowing you to see hackable items, enemies once they've been detected, as well as collectibles. I spend a lot of time in this mode as it's crucial for finding paths to those collectibles and through most missions, as the game relies heavily on stealth mechanics, so knowing what traps you can set and where your foes are at all time is crucial. If you're spotted by an enemy, they'll often yell at people directly in their area, but will also call for backup shortly after. You can tell when you're being spotted by a small quarter circle filling up, and once you're full it becomes nearly impossible to escape without just totally leaving the area. Most firefights, unless you found a perfectly defensible area, Marcus won't survive. Aside from hacking, Marcus has a weapon wheel he can access where firearms and explosives can be equipped. He also has a nifty rope melee-like weapon used to strike and choke his enemies. Bring in the irony now, please, as the whole reason this game started was Marcus being upset that he was flagged unfairly as a threat, and then proceeds to buy rifles and Uzis while exploiting transformers to take out his foes. You aren't penalized for killing, and the shotgun Marcus has to sleep guards often has them screaming and notifying others when shot. Plus, with the various weapon options, including all those dropped by your enemies for Marcus to pick up, don't tell me it's a player's choice in this scenario. I'd challenge anyone to be able to make it through this game without killing, as I believe some of the melee choking he does has to be fatal as well, so don't give me that. Marcus can steal any car or order them from a smartphone app on the fly. At first, when you steal a car, everyone has an alarm that will make nearby people call 911. You can buy a skill to block those calls, but more importantly, you can buy a skill to hack the car alarms and steal silently. First thing you'll notice as you start this game is how bad driving controls really are. There's maybe one car in the game that doesn't feel like you're sliding around on ice constantly. Now, I realize they want to provide diversity in the way cars handle, but most of these wouldn't make it to market feeling the way they do. Cars do take damage though, and will eventually catch on fire after too much. Running from law enforcement still brings back what I call the driver issue from the PlayStation 1 days, where cops happen to randomly spawn just off the map no matter which direction you turn. Now, most open world games with vehicles are guilty of this, as well as another issue brought about by driver, where when the computer controls vehicles, even the same ones you're using, they'll instantly have infinite turbo and can catch you no matter what, even if you hack a boost out. So just be prepared for that. You do have the upper hand in that you can hack steam pipes and stoplights to make them crash, but that's not the point. Now, it wouldn't be an Ubisoft open world game without a ridiculous amount of collectibles to find. Watch Dogs 2 is definitely no exception. Once you're in the area of most collectibles, a blue icon will appear showing you where they are specifically. These include new clothes, new paint jobs, and bags of cash. A lot of them are in restricted zones where you have to sneak in and out or neutralize your enemies. Additional research points can be found and hacked or picked up across the map, as well as the aforementioned key data research points. A lot of collectibles, specifically the research points, require more than just walking up to the icon and claiming it though. A lot of times gaining access can take a bit, as you send your drones through ventilation shafts or hijack forklifts or cranes to give you a ride. The learning curve of this was a bit rough though, as there weren't a whole lot of tutorials early to guide you into what you'll eventually be able to perform. Therefore, I say save up as quickly as possible and unlock the flying drone toy to help scout those situations. There's several locations around the map where you can take selfies to earn followers, as well as unlock emotes to use in multiplayer features. These are tracked in your Scout X app. You can use your cash to purchase and unlock weapons from the DedSec Safehouse 3D printer. You can also purchase cars from dealerships that can be summoned with a click of a button on your in-game smartphone. Speaking of that smartphone, it works pretty well as the in-game menu. When you first begin the game, you can go and download all the apps that lead you to the extra content. Every side mission and main mission discovered will pop up an icon on your phone where you can click it for more information or set waypoints. There's even an Uber-like app where you can take side missions to become a taxi service. One final set of side content I'll touch on are the various races. You can purchase a sailboat that requires you watching wind directions to navigate around buoys. There's first-person drone racing where you can fly through glowing squares. There's also off-road dirt bike racing too. Each of these have multiple tracks and courses. So as you see, per the normal Ubisoft open world formula, there's quite a bit of content, and there's enough variety that it spreads out the monotony just enough. The final type of activity is online multiplayer. The seamless transition into another player's world is pretty amazing. It offers you the ability to take or leave the opportunity whenever you wish. When a player gets cop attention over 3 stars, it launches a bounty mode, where you can trace down their purple icon and eliminate them. Sometimes players will hack you as well by sneaking up on you before you're aware of it, and you must figure out which person is draining your data and eliminate them before they complete the download. That one was probably my favorite part, is after I finished the game I spent about 2 hours jumping into random people's games and finding creative blending ways to hack them and not get shot. Now, this recreation of San Francisco Bay Area is actually pretty amazing too. It's been a few years since I've been out there, but seeing places like Pier 39 and Fisherman's Wharf, as well as Alcatraz and the Golden Gate Bridge is pretty awesome. Never seen Silicon Valley in person, but going inside some of these spoofed tech companies is pretty entertaining too. Some of the hills and streets around town I've seen in various pictures of San Fran are contained in here as well. They just nailed the atmosphere. The DedSec graffiti and loading screens and icons on the app had a lot of character as well. My friend Yellow King mentioned that this was the first time a character of significance in a video game was a graphic designer, which definitely added some uniqueness. I did feel several moments of slowdown and some frame rate issues, which were a little distracting at times. I only had one mission glitch really, which led me into a full game lockup that I had to restart. Now, in addition to the game's ambient music score, there are radio stations you can access while in any vehicle, and of course song collectibles that you can gather by using your Shazam-like app. There's a fairly decent tune variety with most likely something for every player. My final talking point, which I'll do as carefully as possible as to not divulge spoilers, is in regards to the depth of the plot. Watch Dogs 2 does a great job at examining some of the seemingly innocuous technology uses in which we partake today, and examines what could be happening on the other side of our smartphones. With a Google spoof called Noodle and a Facebook called Invite, it can really make you think, if you so choose. There are even parallels in some of the missions to real-life events, like a pharmaceutical rep scamming people to make a ton of money, and then buying an unreleased album from a rap star with that money that no one else will ever be able to listen to. It's just nice to see the thought and depth applied to main mission and side mission content alike. So all that said, I guess my main point is don't discount Watch Dogs 2 based on experience with the first. It has a beautifully rendered recreation of San Francisco, Some excellent thought-provoking mission content, skill trees that really make you feel more powerful as you advance, tons of extra things to do, with a great fast travel system to avoid using the terrible driving, some frustrating stealth moments, some monotonous methods of getting to collectibles, entertaining characters, a good sense of humor, and some fun, seamless multiplayer options. Rated as an open-world, mission procedural adventure game, Watch Dogs 2 hits 82 out of 100, with 50 being an average game. This is Jiro for Umbra Games. Thanks for watching. You know how to subscribe. This is Jiro telling you the objective review. Do what you will.